Hello everyone, Shadefire here, and today I'm taking a first impressions look at the early access version of Viscera Cleanup Detail. A rather unusual concept for a game. A concept that may be either really interesting or really boring for you, kind of depending on your point of view. This is a game that takes place after a sort of typical sci-fi action game has occurred, where a heroic space marine, or perhaps even witty engineer, fights off hordes of aliens and other horrible monsters, and, saves the day. Then, we are a janitor being sent into the, military base or space station or, what have you, to, clean up the big fucking mess so they can start using it again afterwards. So again, it's a concept that could either be really boring or kind of neat and kind of, relaxing, really. So, as you can see, we can either just play it, or we can actually join multiplayer. But let's just get into a game first. These are all the maps right now. The most recent one added was Cryogenesis, which I have not played yet. In fact, I haven't played most of these. I've only played one or two. So what should we go with here? You know what? Let's check out the new one. Actually, I guess it would be Cryogenesis, not Cryogenesis. Alright, so we're a 50-year-old sanitation professional. Make sure not to freeze to death. Don't be worried about the specimens waking back up. Okay. So we're at some sort of cryogenics facility, where I guess they are storing horrible monsters. And you can see we've got our first and most important tool here, the mop, or space mop, which has some really wonky kind of tentacle physics. And then we can smack stuff with our mop or slap it real hard. Our other tool is the detector. This is used to detect mess. There is two settings. One kind of detects little things that you need to pick up, and the other one detects like blood splatters and other liquid kind of messes that we need to mop up. And then we've got our hands, which we can use to move stuff around and clean up. This here is our janitor box. You can store stuff in there if you wanted. Seems like they've added an interact reticle since the last time I was up. Before, it was kind of hard to tell what you could pick up. So here's our first part of the mess. Looks like somebody got shredded here by whatever was in this tube. And you'll see, as we walk in the blood, we track more blood prints, making more mess that we have to clean up. So, you kind of want to stay off areas you've cleaned up if you can help it. Now, we could just start slapping these away, but, as you'd expect, a mop does not have infinite capacity for blood, so we need a bucket to wash it off in. And that means we have to find our bucket dispenser. What sort of critter do we got here? I wonder if this was a prior sanitation personnel. Though we don't want to throw body parts around because they will also make more of a mess. They really went to town in here. Different levels have different sort of interactable things to deploy more, tools we can use, like these lanterns, which make it easier to see all this blood splatter and whatnot, as well as first aid kit supplies, which we can fill up the first aid kits with. Essentially, your kind of purpose here is to try to get the cleanest sort of area. Like, you want to clean up everything as much as you possibly can to get various ratings. If you do perfect, there is a perfect rating. And one of the things we have to do, including cleaning up, is filling up the first aid kits with some more supplies for the next time this happens. So we just pop that in there, and now it's ready to save somebody's life, or at least add 50 health. So still no sign of our bucket deployer. Alright, I believe this is how we punch out. Yep, because here's our 3 options. I am proud of my performance and certain will meet it with approval. I don't care, I'm done and the union's got my back. Or no, I'm not done yet, I was just checking this machine. So this is how we sort of decide we are finished the level, and then we'll get our rating. So, obviously we don't want to pull that just yet. We've still got some work to do. I wonder if there's an actual key code for that. It's hard to tell how much interactable stuff will be in a level when you first start it. Alright, so here's our incinerator. This is how we get rid of all the big stuff, and even the little stuff. Really, this is how we get rid of all the chunky bits. You know, all the things on the floor that should not be on the floor. So we could sort of inefficiently throw these pieces in one at a time, but there are better ways to do this. Ah, here it is. This is our bucket dispenser. And with it... Oh, what did I place that on? This appears to be a shotgun shell from, no doubt, some heroic security personnel running through here. We'll leave that for now. Let's whip out our mop and get to work on this slimy green fucker. But I guess we should probably move him out of the way first. He is fairly large and heavy, so we might have some trouble stuffing him in here. Get in there, you. That'll probably work fine. Alright, time to clean up. Nope, and our mop is already so covered that we need to wash it off. Which knocked the mop over. Great. Alright. Apparently this bucket is now empty. I done fucked up. There we go. Mop is clean. You can kind of tell if it's dirty just by looking at the tentacles. Gotta walk around until our feet aren't dirty anymore. Nope, 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 nope. Don't tip over, please. Oh, it's tipping over. It is so close to spilling. And if it spills when it's full of dirty water, it makes a big mess. So you can see half of the work is just preventing yourself from making it worse. And again, I can see why a lot of people would think this is really boring, because, you know, you are just going around cleaning up. But there's something very cathartic to cleaning, kind of watching your progress and going, oh man, look at this room. It was so filthy before, and now it's so clean. And, you know, it's a relaxing kind of thing to play when you're, I don't know, downloading something in the background, or, you know, waiting for something to finish. Just kind of pass some time. Maybe listen to a podcast while you do it. And of course, even our buckets do not have infinite cleaning capacity, so this bucket is now full, and we just huck that in the fire. And get a new one. Now you can also stack buckets, making it easier to transport larger numbers of them. You know, when you know you're going to need more than one bucket. Alright, what else do we got here? What else can we mess around with? Oh. No reason a janitor can't have a little fun on the job. It's not like we've got a time limit. What's this? Ah. Data logs. It's just like Dead Space. Dangerous environments vest and a prying bar. That almost sounds like a hazardous environment vest and a crowbar. So yeah, this is, I guess, supposed to be a bit of a Black Mesa sort of facility. Throw that shit away. More bullet casings, glass. I don't think glass is a material you have to deal with in a lot of the other maps. You can see, too, that these maps are kind of big, so there's a lot of cleaning involved. These are the bins I was talking about for the incinerator. So you can just kind of, you know, fill them up with all sorts of shit. Bullet casings, bodies, anything you need to dispose of can be thrown into... Come on. Just shake the bin a bit, you know. Throw them all into here, and then you throw them in the incinerator, and you get rid of all of it at once. A lot easier than trying to carry all these parts all the way back there. I wonder if this map has a second incinerator. Ah, this looks useful. I guess we can't make use of this. Plasma gun or whatever. Actually, it might be worthwhile to take this thing. Back to our janitorial box. Store that for later. This game is running on the Unreal Engine, which I've mentioned before. I don't usually like the look of because it kind of looks, you know, squishy. But I think this game, it might be just the filters, and it might even just be this map. But I think this game actually looks pretty good for a small team making a Unreal Engine game. But yeah, I think the fog and the depth of field effects definitely help. Alright, so I think that's the entire map we've seen now. And as you can imagine, it would take a while to clean this place up. I'm of course not going to make you sit through my cleaning routines, because, again, I don't think we want to sit here for hours. This isn't a stream. Well, let's do a little cleaning. After all, this is Viscera cleanup detail. Oh, look, another plasma gun. It seems some of these scientists defied their orders to not destroy any of the specimens, lest they lose their shares. It's sometimes hard to tell what things are supposed to be there. That's what your tool is kind of for. Like these various little barrels and stuff are probably supposed to be here. Because they're not damaged in any way. Alright, well, you know, I think we've done a good day's work here. Let's punch out. I know the union will support me. It wasn't in there in the original version of the early access release, but they have actually added the ability to save mid-mission, so you can come back to your cleanup job instead of having to do it all in one go. And after we punch out, we go back to our office here, in wherever this is. We've got our storage box, which allows us to bring various things back to the office. Essentially anything you put in here, I think, will come back with you. We've got our gloves, our extra helmets with a little Viscera cleanup detail. Oh. Various news articles related to cleaning. Our extra tools, just in case they break. I don't know what these are. I guess this is where we while away most of our days. But I think we're ready for another job. Let's check out another map, I guess, maybe pop into some multiplayer, and I think we'll call it a day. Since there isn't really that much to show yet, other than, you know, cleaning. Let's go with Rust Station. We're only 28 this time. Alright, start right next to our bucket-o-matic and our biohazardous waste disposal machine. What do we have to see here? This is a very industrial-looking sort of space station. The sort of place where a robot named Muddy would work. And our incinerator. Those are kind of the first things you want to find when you play a new map. These are various important tools you'll need for later. I could see where the lanterns would come in handy in this map, because you can't really see a lot of the stains. I guess this is kind of the tool you would use to determine what's garbage and what's not garbage. And when it stops blooping at you, you know that you found what's supposed to be there. So Rust Station seems like a much smaller map than Cryogenesis, which is good because it means it probably takes less time to clean. So I'm not seeing a lamp dispenser anywhere. And... let's try joining a game and see... oh, I don't think we have a server browser just yet. That's interesting. There appears to be more than one save slot now. Before, I'm pretty sure you could only have one. I'm not sure if that saved our progress. Or if that was just like a... no, I guess it did, because that lantern wasn't there. And this corner is still a little cleaner. So yeah, I guess it did save our progress, even though we clocked out. I didn't realize it was still just using direct IP connect. Let me check real quick if I can find us an IP for a server. Well, sadly, there does not appear to be any just straight up IP addresses posted up in the forums for games going on right now, so I guess we're gonna have to go without cleaning with others. But as you can imagine from a game like this, it would kind of either require really good teamwork, where the team is all cleaning different things at different times, or it'd be who can fuck each other over the most, you know, knocking over people's buckets when they're not looking, and throwing gibs at them, and, you know, kind of screwing with each other constantly, so that the work just kind of piles up. Let's check out one more map, I guess. Look at the 0G map. So, because there's no gravity in here, we can just jump and float away. And you can imagine it's even more of a pain in the ass to clean in zero gravity, since we have to pick every little one of these things out of the air. Or we could just kind of hover on over to the controls. Not that thing. There is a button here somewhere that will restore gravity. Perfect. Now the mess is a little bit more manageable. Of course, you still need to turn the gravity back off to get up there and clean the ceiling, which is covered in bloodstains. Instead of an incinerator, we just have the vacuum of space. Or, I suppose it's not really a vacuum if there's no oxygen in here. It's just sort of a void we can throw all our garbage into. Which is kind of neat, because we can do stuff like that. Do some long-distance disposal. Or just miss completely. Suddenly, it's G-Ball. Is it G-Ball from Dead Space? You know, there's the NASA version of G-Ball, which is a horrible nightmare. But we'll get to that someday. Alright, so maybe it's a little harder to throw stuff into space than I thought. Oh, we could just sort of discus this thing. Just be like... oh, oh. Totally thought one was going to make it. And it's gone. But you can see, playing this in multiplayer also, half of the fun would sort of be making up pseudo-games with other people. I mean, I'm one of those people who believes that kind of every game can be better if it can be played with friends, even if it's not a very good game to begin with. And I think this is a pretty neat game. I am not one of those people who thinks this is a horrible, boring idea for a game. It just requires the right mindset to play, the right mood, and a certain desire to clean. Anyhow, I think that will do it for Viscera Cleanup Detail. This is, of course, still in early access, so they are still adding more stuff. Adding new maps, you know, adding better multiplayer support, and so on and so forth. But I like what's here right now, and I'm kind of curious how they can flesh this out more. You know, what they're going to do to change it up as they go. But this is available for only $8 on Steam, so it's not exactly a very expensive game. It is also on sale right now for $6. I don't know how long that's going to last, probably for a couple weeks at least, over the summer. Or you could get a 4-pack if you want to play this with friends. Anyhow, I've been Shadefire, this is Viscera Cleanup Detail, and I will see you all around some other time with some other mess. Until then, guys, take care.